Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your October 2023 tarot reading. Yes, October is really busy, full of a ton of astrological things going on. So, make sure you have, if you haven't watched the Rising Sign Astrology on Patreon, it's rising and sun. You could watch for either one. If you don't know what your rising sign is, you can also watch the astrology for your sun sign. But that's going to give you a little indication of the energies that we're going to be dealing with when it comes to the stars. And yeah, like Mercury's flying through three different signs. We have two Venetian eclipses. Those Venetian eclipses are ruled by Venus and Virgo. So there's a lot. Yeah, there's just a lot going. Mars moves into your sign and we move into your season during October. So things are ramping up for closures for the end of the year. And really, like, especially after the Venus retrograde, I feel like everybody's sort of a different person now. I feel like there was a lot of stuff revealed during the retrogrades this summer, and I think people are really, really different. So, um, and I mean that it's just kind of par for the course on what to expect from humanity in the last 3 years or so. Change, like constant change, constant change, constant change. And if we're being real about it, I was talking to a dear friend of mine yesterday, and who's a Scorpio rising, and so she's very in tune with the ways of humanity and like the deeper aspects of things. And she and I were just talking about how things have to get worse before they get better because people won't believe that the change has to exist. People won't. Like, I don't know if you've ever been through an experience in your life and it broke your heart, but it didn't break you to a point where you were just like, I'm completely and totally done. Like, say you're in a relationship, right? And you give chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. And then you get to a point where the relationship is like at rock bottom and you've given so many chances to change for those things to change. You've given so many chances. You've changed yourself, but the rest of the relationship and the other person hasn't changed. And you get to rock bottom in the relationship. And then what do? That's where humanity has to get. And unfortunately, we're watching it happen. I don't know how long it's going to happen. I'm not one of those doomsdayer people, fear mongering. Like, I'm not out here trying to scare people, obviously. Um, but people are not seeing it. People aren't really recognizing just how, and if they are recognizing just how bad things are getting, like there's no compassion, there's no, and I can't say there's none because I've seen it. I know that there is. It's just not as abundant as it used to be. Like like we can't even trust our neighbors anymore in this world. We can't even trust the people that live next door or across the street. So, yeah, it's a strange experience that we're living in. And months like October, years like this year, are meant to happen. There's a lot of resiliency that comes out of, I have a fly in here and it's driving me crazy. Usually my cat gets these flies and this one he's missed and he is driving me up the wall. It's like, get out of here. Anyways, yeah, so people are it's a frustrating time. An eclipse season, we're really clearing out spaces so that we can thrive, right? Like this is a time where we have to focus on ourselves. Like this is not about focusing on what is going on in the world. Like, yes, we want to pray for the world. Wow, you guys are getting a whole bunch of surrender cards. Power of surrender cards. Um, yes, we want to pray for the world. We want to make sure that we are doing our part for the world. And we're making, we want to make sure that, like anything that we can do, anything that we can be a kinder person, anything that we can do to be a more compassionate person. Of course, we want to do all of those things. But if you try to fix the stuff that's failing because it has to fail, and this is true for your life as well. If you keep trying to fix the things that just want to fail, it's going to drive you crazy. You're going to go insane. So surrender to prayer. You got 3, Scorpio. Surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answers and support will arrive. Surrender to prayer. Surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. Surrender to your soul's path. And finally, surrender obsessive thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve a problem. So surrender obsessive thinking. There's that fly again. It keeps coming into the frame and then popping out. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. This is for all of October. I do have my calendar open. My 6-month reading is available, January through June. Now that I'm feeling better, please support, support, support. I love these things coming up for you. These are pretty amazing. Okay. All right. Okay. So, there are things that you have been focusing on, and I sort of feel like you were either focusing on them this year or you were focusing on them. Yeah, you had to focus on them, and it's just not working out. And so I feel like you're kind of getting some clarity from that. Now, it depends on the kind of person who you are, whether or not you are taking this clarity moment as a blessing and a lesson to pay attention to what's going on and make changes, or you could be taking this as like the victim stance, right? So we have the sun, and this could be like things already fell apart. Okay, so we have the sun, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and we have the Tower. And on the bottom, we have the 5 of Swords, and we have the King of Cups. So, um, I feel like you were focusing on something and growing something, and it became very, very clear that that was not like your course changed quickly, right? There was one thing that you were focusing on, and your course was like, nope, we're changing. And so everything came tumbling down. And I feel like you're sort of second guessing yourself because everything came tumbling down. And then, of course, this is your energy. The King of Cups is the Scorpio energy. So, and it's the Scorpio masculine energy. So whether you're a woman or whether you're a man, I'm feeling like you're really in your masculine in October. And that, I mean, it makes sense because if you have been focusing on something and it came tumbling down, you're sort of like in that mode, that logical mode where you're like, okay, now I got to clean things up. I got to pick stuff up now and fix things. Totally normal, totally makes sense. But the second guessing, the Five of Swords, because swords are our thoughts. So I feel like you're sort of beating yourself up over whatever happened and whatever the things are that are going on. So let's see. The Sun, the Seven of Pentacles, ooh, and the Tower. I'm just going to clarify them all. It feels like that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay, so the second guessing yourself, that can really put you in a place of fear. And that's not really what we want to do. That's not where we're going, right? Some of this is about the reminiscing of the past. And I gotta say, with this Libra solar eclipse happening in your 12th house and the South Node being in your 12th house for this entire year and all of next year until January of 2025, you will be reminiscing a lot about the past, and you will be looking at all of the pieces of, what like who you are, like all of those really dark pieces of who you are. And as a natal 12th houser, let me tell you, it is something that is really necessary to be a humble person, especially in this day and age, to be able to look at all those things from the past and be able to just accept that it happened. Like, you can't change things. Yes, you can do what you can to like apologize and be a different person today, but when it comes down to it, you can't necessarily like you can't change what has happened, right? So we move forward, we move on. Six of Cups on the Sun. I feel like there's some kind of clarity that's coming to you from the past, but I don't want it to be the kind of clarity where you're obsessively thinking, right? Surrendering the obsessive thinking. You don't have to overly think every single thing that's coming up, okay? You don't have to overthink it. Give yourself a break. And it's time to pivot. We have the Fool came out on the Seven of Pentacles. So the things that you were focused on growing and all of that stuff that you were really focused on doing, that it may not have worked now, or it may not have worked recently, but that doesn't mean it's never going to, right? It doesn't mean it's never going to. My cat just came in here, open the door. So the Fool is asking you to start over again, have a whole new, brand new beginning, right? Pivot and have faith while you're doing it. The Fool is all about having faith while you're taking these extra jumps. Okay. And then we have poof, poof, poof is over there. He might come over here in a minute. We'll see. The Five of Wands on the Tower. Okay. So it can create conflict. Whatever is failing, whatever's falling down, whatever's tumbling can create conflict in your life. It can create conflict with yourself, or it can create conflict with your family, friends, whatever, right? Somehow you're going to have to start picking the pieces up so that you can move forward and move on. And allowing yourself to do that is going to be a really big gift. So, the petty arguments, that's really a part of your confusion too. And taking that responsibility, surrendering to prayer, surrendering to, being honest with yourself. That's coming up, right? Surrendering to prayer in those unknown times when you're arguing with yourself in those unknown times. Surrender to prayer, right? The Knight of Wands, that's that back and forth, being all confused. That's why you have that Five of Swords. That's why you're so mixed up here, because you're overthinking it, right? That Five of Swords and the Knight of Wands is definitely overthinking something. So then we're honest with ourselves. Are we on our soul's path? And we're honest with what we want too. And we're honest with what we're putting way too much work into that's harming us, right? So that Page of Swords on the King of Cups is really about being honest with yourself. Hold on, he gets kind of ornery with the plants. He's fine. Sorry. So that, the Page of Swords is asking you to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, who are you going to be able to trust? Who are you going to be able to be honest with to be able to trust enough if you can't even be honest with yourself? Right? So instead of reminiscing and thinking about all the ways that I shoulda, coulda, woulda done things differently, you want to have a road that's more of ease. And you don't want to have a road where you're suffering, right? Like this Page of Cups is the desire. And that 10 of Wands is your desire is the ending of this really difficult journey. Like you want something, and I don't really want to call it softer. I want to say you want a journey that has more ease to it. You want a journey that has more clarity to it. You want a journey that has more, um, just ease. Like that's the only word that keeps coming up. You just want a journey with ease. So, and you do that by not arguing with yourself. Because when you argue with yourself, you want to argue with other people too. And that's just not where you want to be. October is going to be a little difficult. So take care of yourself and, really be honest with yourself about where you are and where you would rather be. And open yourself up to ways to get there. Okay. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful October. And I hope to see you guys in some readings this October. That would be awesome. Talk to you soon. Bye.